Perry this week? Where's he at the moment?
Progressing through a normal rehab program. So today is, he did a bit on Monday, got through that, so he has to step it up a bit today with a view to give us an indication of whether he's going to push for selection or not.
Is progression good enough on Monday? Do you think he's going to be able to do more today?
Yeah, well, he's progressing and he wasn't far away last week, so yeah, the decision's going to be around yeah, is he right to get through a full game? I think he's going to show enough to say he can play. It's the risk factor of does he pull up sore from that. So that's always a tough one to make, but we'll get a better idea after he's had a good run around today and how he pulls up from that.
Are you going to be fairly conservative with him throughout the whole year, considering what he's been through?
Not considering what he's been through, just considering how he actually is at the time. Yeah, so. Not overly conservative, but sensible around how we manage him.
You said he might be able to play a full game. Would you consider playing him as a sub, or if he can't play out, what do you play out?
No, well, if he was fit to play half a game, then you would consider him as a sub if there was a guarantee that he would get through that without further damage. So all those things could come into play.
Just from a sort of layman's perspective, if you can play half a game and put in the intensity, why can't he?
Just the risk increases, yeah, of obviously as you fatigue, the risk of further muscle strains does increase. But there's always a risk that coming back from any muscle strain that you can re-tear it in the first minute of a game. So you're always weighing those things up.
How did Woosha pull up from that Corby on the weekend?
Pretty sore, but responding pretty quickly as well. So again, he didn't do much on Monday, so we'll see how he's tracking today, and we'll get a feel from what I've heard so far. He's improved a lot, as you would expect in the first couple of days. So he'll continue to improve.
So is he still in a tiny bit of doubt this weekend?
Well, he's still got to prove his fitness. Yes, that'd be right to play.
And Butler, where does he stand?
Should be classed as fit this week.
Would you likely rush him back in, or maybe?
I'm not sure what you mean by rushing back in, but if he's fit and he gets selected, then he'll play. Yep.
How about Mackenzie, Joe?
He's fit to play this week. Yep. So we might rush him back.
You've got the issue of next week. Obviously, there's no waffle footy at all. Does that influence at all your selection in terms of trying?
Sorry.
There's no waffle footy next week.
Next week, yep.
The week after. So
yep.
If he doesn't play not this week, he won't play. Not play or next week. He won't play any football.
Yep.
Do you have to manage things a bit differently?
You give that some consideration about what's happening in the future. So, yeah, we're aware there's a general waffle bye next week with the state game on. So we take that into some account. But our number one priority is always pick the best team to travel to Adelaide to win the game.
Speaking of Adelaide, what have you made of this season so far?
Well, they probably haven't won as many games as they would have liked, but they still have the talent on their list to threaten all teams, and we expect that's what we'll get this week, a team that's pretty disappointed with their performance last weekend and want to bounce back at home.
How important is it on the road, John?
Well, a win's important, yep. No more important on the road or at home.
Yeah, both Adelaide teams next couple of weeks, both will allow you a good chance to secure your place in the game.
Well, any win for us now continues to hold our position on the ladder. You generally don't get jumped on the ladder if you win. So the challenge for us, is as part of our development to show that consistency of performance, take it up to Adelaide in Adelaide, and keep working from there.
Neil Craig's experiencing what you have over the past few years, the pressure of being a two-team town and not performing up to expectations. Do you feel for him at all? Do you talk to him?
I haven't spoken to him. No, he's a fairly experienced operator, Neil. He's not the sort of, mind you, all coaches like to get some support from anywhere at different times, but it's not as though he's a young coach in that position early on in his career. So I don't feel for Neil, because we all know he would know exactly where he's at and what his focus is and where he's going to take the group. So I'm sure he knows how to deal with all that.
You've been through the hardship of trying to rebuild the team, and now the fruits of backing yourself in. There's a lot of coaches going through that at the moment. Well, how long do you reckon it actually takes to rebuild the team?
Well, I've been telling you for 3 or 4 years and you obviously haven't listened. So check your notes, go back, and you'll get some indication.
The frustration that coaches aren't given that opportunity to, most coaches at least, aren't given that opportunity to rebuild the team after the success.
Well, it doesn't frustrate me too much, but sometimes I would question the sense in it and say there would be better ways to do it. So at some point in time, I may be in a position to give some feedback to the people who make those decisions, but you know, it's not my role at the moment.
I imagine you feel far more equipped to have done this rebuild rather than the rebuild when you first arrived at the top with no experience, which is what a lot of people say, get rid of the successful coach, bring in somebody who's never done it before. I'm a lot more knowledgeable now and experienced, yeah, than I was. I was flying by the seat of my pants a bit in the early 2000s when I first took over. It was a lot of gut feel and just trying to pick things up and learn as we go. And now I use that experience in my current position.
Did you have a goal in terms of wins at the halfway point of the season, and have you exceeded that?
Didn't have a goal, no. Certainly didn't set any goals in terms of number of wins. Our goal was to do the work to show that we were improving as a team in the way we play and that individually players were showing improvement.
Is there anything that you don't feel that you have achieved that you wanted to from the start?
No, but it's certainly, there's areas that have been highlighted throughout this season so far that we need to keep improving on. There may be some margin, we may have marginally improved in some we're fairly stagnant, but we're very clear of what those are.
John, from your review this week, last week you said that sort of drop off in intensity in the second half was possibly down to fatigue. Do you still think that was the case?
It's hard to put a finger on it exactly, whether it's mental or physical or fatigue or a mixture of both. So the thing is that when you have those weeks, it's not a cumulative thing. There's often it hits in 1 week and you bounce back, and the measures we use on player wellness and how they're feeling have bounced back this week, which is great.
So no lighter week on the track this week then?
Well, it's a week as planned, yeah, which we go through phases of heavy periods and lighter periods. So this week we just stick with our plan.
Are you across the story of Brendan Schwab proposing 2 divisions in football?
I'm not, unfortunately. Well, I've heard a whisper about it, but yeah, I don't know anything about it.
The top split the 9 and 9, and the bottom 9 challenge for a different championship to the top 9. So you'd be challenging for like a plate rather than a premiership this year. Would you think that would work? That as a team currently sitting out challenging for a flag, you wouldn't be allowed to do so? You'd be challenging for a
yeah. Ideally, yeah, you would be playing off for the one. I like playing off for one trophy in that competition.
Have you thought about relegation systems?
I haven't thought about that at all, no.